Star Wars is saved. The new season of Rebels has finally arrived, and I guess we're going to get this Disney Star Wars version of Heir to the Empire. So let's talk Ahsoka, everybody. All right. Well, we are going to break this down, talk about it. I couldn't believe they dropped 2 episodes at the same time at the 9 o'clock slot, because normally it's like the Andor situation where they're just walking around and nothing happens. And then we had to get to episode 3 in Andor before something actually happened. Here, they had like this massive cliffhanger at the end of episode 1. It's like, why didn't you guys just stop there? This would have been buzzing and trending for a week if they had, really killed off this character or not. But I don't know. If you want spoilers or not, it's probably not the video for you. I have no reason to hold back in my opinion. I find this show to be typical Disney Star Wars, that there's a good story in there, but it's drawn out and it's bloated. And we're going to talk about some of the issues, good, bad, and some of the things I like, because this is by far not the worst thing that Disney Star Wars has offered us. So let's get into it a little bit. I think it's best to just sort of like walk through the episode a little by little, talk about pieces of it. I may have to kind of like put it up and take it down to manage through some of the copyright stuff, but reality is we'll figure it out. So it starts with a crawl, kind of, right? It's not the right font. It's not the right color. It's offset to the left. So the format's not the same. And I'm like, all right, well, it helps me a little bit. And we're going to get to a theme here in a minute where I don't totally get when this show takes place. We're going to keep coming back to that, because what they're talking about here sounds very post Return of the Jedi, which I thought was way after Rebels. So I thought Rebels was up to this certain point. We have what happens with the original trilogy, and then all right, well, then we also have this quote, former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano. I'm like, former Jedi? Wait a minute, what? Like, I don't know. We're retconning his own stuff. Like, I don't think they know what they're doing, and I don't think they care.
I don't even believe you have a plan. I have part of a plan. What percentage? I don't know. 12%. 12%?
Then the show starts off with this very strange look about it, where, and I was really off put right away with this whole sequence. Number one, all of the costumes look like they are just right off the press, man. They're right from the dry cleaner. They're right. This, you know what it is? This show. It feels like I'm dealing with like a theme park presentation. It's like they're like theme park ride operators is what they look like, or they're like Star Trek. It's just way too clean.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
And the premise here is there's a hailing, and they're going to allow this ship to come on board. They claim to be Jedi, and we end up with this confrontation where he shows up with 6 people. He has 6 security members, security force. No one has their weapons drawn. And I got to be honest, they at least are trying to have aliens in their show. But the Admiral Akbar character right there, he has on these gloves and stuff that looks so bad. It wouldn't have surprised me if it just fell off his hand. Like, he's not really moving his hand. There's no motion. Everything is so rigid and faked. And then I don't even know what kind of security like the 105-pound person on his left is going to provide. But that's what they ended up with, to basically face Jedis. That's who they're presented as, right?
You serious?
And they do the typical entrance point, and it turns out they're not friendly Jedis, and they cut through them like butter. So we get Ray Stevenson as the big baddie, and we have this other girl, and they're rescuing. She basically is the girl boss. This is typical for me, where I don't really totally get into like who the characters are and their names and things like that, because I tend to not really care too much. It tends to not be like I have to kind of know the character's even going to be around a minute for I need to get like totally immersed into all their names and all of these sort of elements, right? Because this is just it's a Dave Filoni project. He wrote it, he directed it. I don't know what I'm going to get. As far as I know, Balin Skull is a new character, a Jedi that survived, and now he's sort of I don't even know that he's a dark Jedi. Anyway, we're rescuing this girl who, now I had heard this, so I don't know. I'm not going to go back and watch it. She was in Mando season 2. That's all I heard. I don't even remember her. She was just an insignificant person in Mando, but she somehow matters here, and we'll get to that. So this is the Ahsoka introduction, which we've seen in the trailers and the footage and things like that. This sequence just went on forever with her getting this thing open to basically find the ball. Because we haven't seen anybody find a ball before, or have we? Like, it just okay. It's just so drawn out before we have this sort of confrontation. Now, the robot attackers, you just know, are not going to last very long. I don't know. There's so much just bad in this episode with this type of stuff. I want to get to this one shot where she sort of jumps at them. This is the hole. She goes down the hole. But there's some flipping and stuff that she does. Anyway, it's fine. They have a self-destruct, and it becomes like a complete nuclear bomb went off on this planet. It's a complete wasteland. Nothing's left behind. And then you would get introduced to this little droid, which it's got a silly name. It is Huang. He's sort of like a lightsaber making droid, I believe. David Tennant. So it's the David Tennant philosopher droid who makes lightsabers and lectures the humans, or lectures not just the humans, but lectures the characters. And then we get to see Hera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think is how you say her name, Winstead. Yeah, Winstead. This is Mrs. Obi-Wan, because that's Ewan McGregor's wife now, because he cheated on his other wife to marry her.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I have no affinity for Rebels, so I apologize if I'm missing certain things. And oh my gosh, I should have seen this, Pops. And if you watched the show, you would get this. No, I don't really care too much. What I really couldn't stand about her is how perfect the skin and stuff it looks like. It just doesn't seem real at all. I've seen cosplayers that it feels more natural, and I don't know why, because obviously she's wearing some makeup, so it's not like I don't think that's all digital. Anyway, I don't think her eyes are right either. I thought she had like green eyes, but there's times where her eyes are blue, and I don't know. Maybe her eyes change colors. Maybe I'm just reading too much into all that. But so it's just a lot of talking about the map. They got this map they can't open, and then they have this presentation that's going to take place. We're going to cut over to this planet. We're going to have this presentation, a sort of a thank you for saving us celebration with Clancy Brown, who I like seeing. Clancy Brown, hey, how you doing? And like I said, they sprinkle in some aliens, which is something that didn't happen on some other shows. So I do appreciate the effort. And then we're going to get Sabine Wren, who does not show up because she's playing nasty social justice warrior weirdo girl. Not going to go to the party. You can't make her because she's just too girl boss for them. So she's going to go and hang out with her kitty cat creature. That's like basically like the kitty cat Grogu, and listen to a message of Ezra. So again, this is where I don't totally understand where Ahsoka fits into everything, because I thought the Rebel stuff predates Yavin. So I'm not quite sure why we're celebrating Ezra and not like what Luke and them did during the original trilogy, if this is New Republic era. And well, there's a lot of talk about Ezra, but and it's done very much it sends all the signals of, I think of you like a sister. All right. So this is the, I don't know what to call him. Is he technically a Jedi? I mean, he was a Jedi, right? So the Ray Stevenson character, the Balin character, this is his apprentice, right? So she kind of looks like Darth. There's a singer, like one of the girls at work talked to me about this singer. Her name was Aurora. And all I kept thinking about, man, I just saw this girl. Where did I see her? Well, I saw this singer named Aurora. It's not her. It's an actress. She just happens to look like her. So it's Darth Aurora in my head. I have no idea what this character's name is. I'm sure it was said out loud. I don't know. I didn't notice it in the subtitles. Maybe I missed it. I could care absolutely less. She is girl boss, Padawan girl boss Darth Aura with a lot of eye makeup and a angry look on her face the whole time. That's pretty much what she brings to the table. And they have this conversation with this other lady who he saved, who is extremely insufferable. She is just horrible to look at and watch in nearly every scene. And we find out that she's a witch. She's a witch. I don't know if that came up before, but she's a witch. So what should we do? Burn already! The witch doesn't really do anything witchy, really. Like there's one scene later on, I think it's in the other episode. We have to deal with Social Justice Girl, and then discussing Social Justice Girl, and then her showing up with the map and blah blah blah. It's just everyone. They just stand around and talk, and then there's all this conversation about her training under Ahsoka, like she was Ahsoka's Padawan.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
And I'm like, when was this whole Jedi Knight Padawan training thing? I don't get it. Like I said, if you don't know me, I don't watch everyone else's reviews until I do my review. So maybe you all have explained this. I will be happy to pick up those pieces. It wasn't in the crawl. It's just sort of talked about that this relationship soured, and for some reason Ahsoka just gave up on her, I think. It doesn't sound like she quit. It sounds like Sabine, I don't know if she dropped. I don't know what's happening. She's Mandalorian, but she was trained to be Jedi too, but she doesn't have force powers. And this stuff is all just very cavalier dialogue. It's just stuff sort of like just thrown out there, right? So anyway, she's supposed to work with Ahsoka to do all this stuff. And so here's the philosophy droid lecturing Ahsoka about doing just that. And then what Ahsoka didn't want to have happen happens, where Social Justice Girl just takes off with the map on her own. She's just disobedient. And then you have Hera and Ahsoka discussing and basically lecturing. So it's all this conversation about the training, not training, and authority and all of that. And she eventually opens it up, and then is attacked and loses the orb, has her whole area trashed, and then has to face off against Darth Aurora. And they have a lightsaber battle. Now, I'm under the impression that she's not force sensitive, so I don't quite understand, because we have enough in the opening sequence with Darth Aurora, and though she's powerful enough that she should easily deal with this character. By the way, why do they have sparks? Did I miss this in the original films? Because I don't remember them sparking. They make a sound, and they would have like the circle of light would be bigger, but now they don't do the circle of light. They just do these sparks, and it's weird. Wouldn't it set your hair on fire? I don't know. Anyway, so this doesn't go well, and it lasted way longer than you thought it would last. I really couldn't understand how she would even be able to hold her own. And then this happens, and you're like, oh, crap. So I have to be honest. I thought for a second this was really drawn out. It's almost an hour long. And I thought to myself, okay, well, this is going to be really dark because now Ahsoka has to deal with the whole point of being a Jedi is to not succumb to your feelings. But in this case, she might feel guilty and she'd be on this big guilt-ridden journey through this season. And she'll be left with maybe having to pick up another Padawan or a replacement for Sabine. I don't care. Social justice girl. And she's been run through. But we've seen this before, have we not?
Overside.
Betrayal.
Right? We know exactly what's going to happen because in Disney Star Wars, lightsabers are not really a thing exactly. Because in Disney Star Wars, when you get hit with a lightsaber or you're run through with a lightsaber, as we have seen before, you live. I remember when lightsabers cut off Walrus Man's arm, Luke Skywalker's hand, Darth Vader's hand. If it run you through like Qui-Gon, you died. Now, they did break the rule with Darth Maul, and I hated the fact that they did all that, by the way. However, this is so absurd. I was so taken aback, and I thought such a missed opportunity here of having a journey. Even I mean, I even could have been like, you're probably not going to make it. Like I thought maybe this was going to be more like the guilt, like don't be guilty. And she dies. Like I still thought, well, maybe she'll still. No, she's sitting up. She's like, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm getting better.
No, you're not. You'll be stone dead in a moment. Oh.
Show sucks. I am so ticked off that we can't do this stuff right. We have these moments where you feel like you're in Star Wars, and it's not bad. Ray Stevenson is at least a menacing figure. I don't have anything I think that's particularly interesting. Again, Ahsoka just walks around. This episode's full of just a lot of walking and talking. Oh, she's completely up and around. There's a shot. Is it right before this? There's a shot where she's no, I don't know where it is. Anyway, there's a shot where you can see her belly, and there's like just a circle on her belly, and I'm like, these things cut through like blast doors and stuff. They cut robots in half. So you wouldn't have anything left there. It would be a mess. Ugh.
A menage a trois of pain. Usually you pay double for that kind of action, Cotton.
Oh, I know everybody with Rebels. We're so excited to see Hera like this. And we cut back to the witch. So this is the only witchy thing the witch does. She plays with this little ball and makes it do this. So that's the extent of the witch. I got to be honest. I kind of wish we'd done other stuff with the witch.
We have found the witch. May we burn her?
So this is and again, I've heard about this in Rebels. I know about the whole world within a world, world between worlds thing or what. I hate all that. I think it's just time travel stuff, world within world. Like just stick with your linear universal stuff. They're not smart enough to hold all this together, in my opinion. And I'm 100% certain that whatever they're doing will be in contradiction to what they've done before, even if Filoni is the one doing it. He does not care enough about his own stuff. I don't know that maybe he's clever enough or smart enough. It will be in contradiction. But all of this is because General Thrawn is out there. Everyone just knows he is. We don't know where Ezra is. Anyway, and why did we wait till now to look? Did Battle of Yavin just happen yesterday? Because otherwise you all been sitting around doing nothing. Anyway, then we go and we see this planet. And we meet this nerdy guy. Now, I don't even at this point care a whole lot. I'm already sort of like halfway watching. I've stopped a couple times because they're just talking. Nothing's actually happening. And now we're just going to see this nerdy guy. And the worst part of this nerdy guy is this sequence where they're on this little transport, and this CGI is the worst CGI of the show. The show is not as bad as like Boba Fett, and it's not cringy as bad like Kenobi bad. But the CGI in this sequence, you are in the volume, you are in the scene. I mean, this is so bad. I was so taken out of this scene. I kept pausing it like, my gosh, this is awful. It's just, it literally looks like cardboard cutouts moving and discussing things. And again, Ahsoka and Hera's makeup and stuff, they just look too pristine in a world that's not pristine. Oh, wait, this might be the belly. I don't know. It's hard to know exactly how to get that shot just right so you can see it. But I think this is the shot. Yeah, there it is. You get run through with a lightsaber, and that's all that happens. And I was just like, pause, full stop.
Look, just a flesh wound.
You got to be kidding me. I freaking landmine to the face. Landmine to the face. Okay, so we're now halfway through episode 2, and this is Philosopher Droid just lecturing her. And here's the other thing I can't stand about Sabine Wren, or whatever her name is, social justice warrior Wren. Her look is never consistent. Like, I don't quite get the lighting and the makeup and things like that. She seems like she's got a different look and feel in every scene. Like, it's never quite consistent. And we're going to have radical change anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, he's a lightsaber guy, whatever. Cut back to the nerds. And there's this long conversation about, so this is exactly the same kind of thing that's happening over on Kenobi and Andor and all that. Is we're living in this place where the Republic people suck just as much as the Empire people do. That's what they were setting up, right? We see a lot of these breadcrumbs along the way, bureaucracy and how everything works. But here we're seeing the dismantling of a Star Destroyer in this uber hyperdrive. And then they're questioning nerd guys like, no, that's classified. I can't tell you. She's like, I'm General blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't care. It's all this pushback. And then all of a sudden, all heck breaks loose. And it just goes sideways really, really fast. Where everyone just starts looking. Oh, yeah, someone's just leaving. They're leaving right there. I hate that timely, contrived nonsense where it only makes sense because we want it to make sense. It doesn't actually make sense in real life. So anyway, they just start blasting. Oh, long live the Empire. And they just start shooting and blasting all the white people because only the white people are the bad people. And nerdy guy hides behind his droid in this cringiest of cringe way. And it sets up this little chase. So you have this person who don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they're an Inquisitor. I'm basing most of that on the weapon, to be perfectly honest. I don't know that they tell us who and what that is. I'm just going to go with an Inquisitor. There's another, fill in the blank, droid type thing that has a lightsaber that's a complete waste of time to go off against Ahsoka. And then she's going to go after the hyperdrive with Chopper. Now, I know the Rebel people are just thrilled about Chopper. I personally can never get into Chopper. I don't get it. I enjoyed the droids that just beat back, were trying to contribute. They were sassy, but they give Chopper like extra utensiled arms, and they replicate like human dialogue too much with Chopper. That's why I don't like him. I don't have a problem with the Chopper that he's got a bad attitude. I just don't care for those couple of elements. And it's like him looking for something. Okay, and the other thing too, and then this is just me, and I am not going to pretend to be an expert about Clone Wars and all that, but I thought Ahsoka, more than a lot of the other Jedis, would always hold one lightsaber backwards. So she was like attacking with one hand and protecting the other and spinning around like that. That was how she fought. And in this one, she's not doing that. And I think that this made the choreography of the scene not work as well for me. It's not like I said, this is better than what I got in some of the other shows, but it's not like, oh my God, this is amazing. I felt like some of this was in Star Wars at least, which is not something I can always say. Oh, this was silly. I really hated this scene because she's just running and it calls for its sword back and it just flies by her face. Whoop. Yeah, whoop. Yeah, whatever. And we cut back to social justice. She's now coming to grips with being a Mandalorian, and they're discussing things. And then she's gonna show up with her cut hair because now she's got the social justice haircut too. It's like, take her out like a captain, like a Trek conference, and it's 5 minutes of credits. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of this back and forth with whatever and about what do you feel, and I just don't care. So here's the thing. Let me turn my notes over. I wrote some notes because this was like, again, biggest negative, way too long. This is an hour, let's say an hour and 10 minutes. An hour and 10 minutes of a movie. Think about an hour and 10 minutes. Oh, well, no, it's a TV show, Pops. We're allowed to. Do we need to do that? Do we need to sit through an hour and 10 minutes? Like, you had a big thing about getting the little ball, and then the Empire people get the ball. Why couldn't we not just have had the battle and the Empire people got the ball? Like, why did we not just take all of this, move it around, shorten it up, and it would be fine? All right. The music is better than some of the other shows. It's not Star Wars-y enough for me. It's not like it's remixed John Williams, but it's better than some of the other shows. There are wipes and stuff. I felt like I was in more Star Wars-y world than I have with some of the shows, but it's still so clean and neat and polished and not lived in. The Lucas would talk about this all the time with those original movies, that he wanted this to be full of like blaster marks and darkness and cracks and crevices and always fixing the Falcon, and all of that is lost. This all looks like brand new stuff except for like the salvage yard and a few. We did go to some cool places, little temple, little relics, things like that. So some of that was fine. As I said, I can't stand, what's it called? The Leku, the like the tentacle things that are on Ahsoka and Hera, and their makeup. They just look so perfect. Like nothing. It's like pop it off like a Lego head, pop it back on. It's like it was so distracting at times with those kinds of things. Okay. Pet peeve. I mentioned the lightsaber thing, the way that Ahsoka holds them. And this was several characters that they all fight with their cloaks on and stuff, or they have like these really elaborate, they fight in these elaborate robes. The Jedi and stuff are using laser swords. Wouldn't they catch fire and hurt themselves? It's just, we've lost. It's better than Kenobi was. Maybe I should just stick with that and not nitpick the robes and stuff, but it bothered me. Who am I saying? Who am I kidding? Right. I just don't care about this like Ezra mystery box thing. I don't understand why, if all this is so important, why we've waited so long. Because I don't understand the time frame of when this show is supposed to take place exactly. It's sort of like we kind of vaguely get it, but we're not like, is it right after Jedi? Is it 6 months, 5 years? I don't know, something. So, anyway, let me think. I got anything else really to throw in? I mean, I liked it better than some of the other stuff, but the stabbing thing is probably the worst part so far. By far the worst part. That's terrible. And it would have been such a boss thing to have a cliffhanger, like you don't know if she's going to make it or not. And even if, I mean, gosh, these people love bacta tanks. There were bacta tanks everywhere in Book of Boba. Why she wouldn't be in a bacta tank healing? You don't know if she can make it or not. She's, it wasn't like through her heart or her belly. It was on her side. So maybe you can play that up a little bit, but you would think there would be some catastrophic damage that would put her life in harm's way. And that is really not how we see things. So anyway, that's my take on it. It's like, Now I can go watch everybody else's reviews and stuff because I've been on like, oh, I don't want to know because I got to spill my guts to you guys. And this was a long process. I paused a lot. I had a hard time getting through this. I found this very tedious and I just didn't care very much. My level of investment has waned dramatically. Disney has lost me a ton. So anyway, that's where I'm at on this. I'm sure you guys will let me know what you think. I'm Pops. Take care, everybody. Until next time, I will talk to you then.